A series of kind of just proofs really from stills here or whatever. So general idea is that the past is not the past as we kind of look at it or whatever, that our memory is actually a lot more rigid than time kind of itself or whatever, and that the now moment is actually kind of like it's about 80 years wide. you know and the force of gravity, okay, is the force that binds the observer to that which is being observed. In order for something to be observed, it has to occur, and it has to occur in a cohesive, situation in conformance with law, whatever. And it also has to be congruent with the event before it. So as we are observing in the now, sometimes things happen, or observations are made, or new discoveries are made, however it works, or whatever, that cause, a rearrangement of quanta, kind of along the timeline or whatever. And gravity's responsibility essentially to use the mechanism of the universe and black holes and light, mirrors, and what I call gravitational mirrors, and also gravitational lenses, to route and move the light where it needs to be, so that events can be cohesive. Now, this situation is very simple. If you notice, let's see right here. Okay, well, that's gold. Period. And that's his other leg. And so this is a very simple kind of example. There, and you have it right there. There's the gold foot. You have the gold segment there, and you also have that gold there. So and I contend that his leg was gold, and something happened or changed it to silver. There are several anomalies here, and one, okay, so you have with gravity, okay, you have red shifted and blue shifted light. Now, green is function of blue shift, and red is function of red shift, obviously. But in order to make a gold leg silver, okay, it requires removing red. Okay, now it's odd that his arm is red. It's kind of like a stab at it. But another interesting effect here of the arm, and you'll notice it here, is this situation where melding is occurring, and this is just simply a background. You see. So how the background could wrap around in this way and go into the red arm is, evidence to me that there are forces at work that are at least, when the leg becomes fully in scene or whatever, to prepare it, to be, silver, And so we want to find anomalies. That's what we expect to find, anomalies involving red and involving the color green. And we do, and this is one of them, you know what I mean? Brown, also red and green, and whether or not it's some nefarious action or some, deed of dastardly proportions or whatever, I don't know. But, we're talking about the routing of light and the changing of light. And so this example is very kind of cut and dry and straight to the point, that the leg was gold, because you can see right there that it is. Okay. This is just to provide another scene reference for the fact that he does, in fact, have a silver foot in addition to a silver leg. See all the details that are going on there, just to make sure I say yes. Use a brush here, blur saturation up as far as we can here. It's just pulling out some red there, as you can see. It makes it kind of a little bit more gold. However, yeah, it's melding. Well, the end, you know. there you have it. Okay, if you look here, it appears to be falling off. That's a shadow, okay? But that makes no sense. I mean, why would a flat surface, okay, make these edges? You see what I'm saying? Why would it do that? And why would it also appear that, as you can see, red light, is falling into a hole, essentially. And that's what we're missing from 3PO's leg right there, is red. Because if you add red to it, you get gold. And I think I can add that. So temperature, put the temperature up, add red, yeah, there you go. Adding red to it gives it gold. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm suggesting is that the red is obviously, let me just to show you, the red's obviously going out in a bizarre way right there. And like I said, it looks like it's cascading down into a hole. And just as I've been trying to explain this or whatever, that there's gravity mirrors, black holes, all kinds of those situations or whatever that are in place to route light and move it about. I mean, for example, what is that? You know what I mean? There's just total void, blackness underneath the dude's foot. And we have a situation where light appears to be just leaking or draining down a floor. And also too, look here, you have another black. You got a black here surrounded by a Y. You got another black, another black, another black. And they just happen to coincide with, with these situations here. So you got one there, one there, one there. You see what I'm saying? One there. There's one here for no reason at all. See what I mean? And it's fascinating because, let's see. I'll just go ahead and try to see if I can make something out of this here. What I want to do is, first of all, take a look at the light first, because it seems to be on most of these cases. It's usually, look here, look there. You look at the negative space, okay. So what's happening is some type of activity is occurring here. See, around this, black hole type looking thing. And we know that his leg was gold, okay. And what's occurring that we can see with our eyes is some odd, dimensional issue that appears that color red, which is missing from the leg, is just falling out. It's like we got a kind of a weird type box looking kind of situation that's occurring, and to me, I don't know how else really to kind of demonstrate this. Whatever, like, you have a bizarre melding artifact going on there, and then again down by the foot here, you have this odd activity that's occurring, that's going on there, and then obviously you can see there goes the red. The floor is gray. Now I accept or whatever, there could be some artifact, the shadows of their legs or whatever, and I'm fine with that. But if you consider that, then like, okay, so maybe that's the silver from this leg, but why is the silver reflecting but only the red that's missing from 3PO's leg reflecting? You see, you're not going to win. You know what I mean? They're not false memories. You understand? They're not false memories. And also, take a look at take a look at the feet, right? They're not the same. As a matter of fact, if you consider the shape of shoes, okay, and how they work, this almost looks like a back of a shoe or whatever. You see, and what that would mean is that, you know, there's some type of gravitational mirroring that's occurring here, wherein the nature of the angle of the mirrors has caused, you know, the appearance of perhaps, you know, this leg or this leg to mirror, and that's why the foot is backwards there. You know what I mean? It's a very, I mean, this is a really good example here. You know, here just kind of start dropping the exposure, and like I said, there's gonna be a lot of red, but there should be green, because I mean his leg, yeah, it's silver, but there's a real, if you see here, there's a real harsh edge, you know, and no kind of general reflection of any kind of that situation above it, you know, wherein, you know, you could clearly kind of see, you know, in the opposite, you know, the shadows are connected. They go through the segment in knee and make a Y, you see. But for some reason or another, you know, there's a disconnect right here, and none of the shadows are, you know, they don't even match up. You know what I mean? Even though they don't, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, where they do match up, they're matching shadows with light areas, you know. And what I mean is if you'll notice, you know, here it's kind of like bright, and like here is kind of like dark. I mean, and what the hell is that? I mean, right off the bat, you know, shadows are gonna meet up with shadows. They're not gonna meet up with light like that. You see, like in the case of here, you know what I mean? This black line right here doesn't have any fucking yellow on it whatsoever. I mean, this is a bunch of bullshit, and you can tell it's bullshit because you just go look at the other knee for an example of how it works. You know what I'm saying? In order to change that leg from gold to silver, there's gonna be a significant amount of red, and even though it's just the saturation and the exposure down, it's still red, just like if you consider, okay, you know, the hat and that, they're the same kind of red, but for some reason or another, this appears to be, you know, silver or whatever. And so why the light would be concentrating upward, why this segment would have that harsh edge, you know, wherein obviously it's not the same here at all. You know, on this one you have light, on this one there's nothing but darkness. So I mean, you know, that's to me, this is compelling enough to suggest that there's something occurring, at least. So I'm gonna go with this one and say, okay, there's light here, dark there, and we know that this is the one that is the silver leg. If you'll notice, now silver leg obviously is blue, and you can see that. Okay, I'm gonna check here. However, the gold leg has gone completely black. Okay, now as interesting as that is in and of itself, it doesn't illustrate the point that, and this is very simple and can go unnoticed on things, that this, okay, blue is a result of a reflection off of that silver that simply isn't present here. Okay, as a matter of fact, if you consider the general position of the reflections that are blue, this one is offset, i.e., like, okay, so the way that 3PO is standing, if there's a reflection here, there should be one here. See, there should also be one here. There should be one here, and there's not. As a matter of fact, you know, here, where you see where the light is at on 3PO's chest, okay, the light source is coming from this way, okay. Well, there shouldn't be a reflection there at all. And then also too, which I find kind of interesting, just as an A-side kind of stab here, is that you got like a black Y there with an eye in the middle of it, and if you turn it upside down, you know, you got that you know, that beautiful all-seeing eye situation going on there, you know. Hey. You know, and you know, the artifacts that are present in this image are present kind of in bulk, you know, around that general area. And the reason that I'm demonstrating these things is because, my research into this form that I call the Y, or lens, or gravity lens, has kind of delivered me to this situation where, I can use that form to find these anomalies or whatever. So there's something there that's present in that form, the Y, the lens, and I believe it's somewhat, it's an artifact of observation in conjunction with a gravitational effect. Now, I can demonstrate the Y, and it will be in the general area of the leg where the observation is occurring, and it's in the negative space of things, which is important. So in this case, or whatever, we see there's a Y right here, and it conforms to the pattern that I discussed. There's a Y, and there's two little kind of features on the pillar. You have a thing in the center, and then it comes down like here, okay? And there's a smaller Y kind of on the bottom of it, all right? In general, if you find these Y's like kind of like in outer space, they're every, here's a Y, there's a Y, and they kind of cascade. They're in general, though, if you find these in images of galactic clusters, and you will because they're all over the place, the bottom of the Y is about the area where you'll find black holes. And yes, they can be used to locate black holes. They can be used to locate dark matter. They can be used to locate gravitational lenses. They can be they're used for many things. And if you can see, you'll notice you have a Y and then one behind it and then one behind it. And what's happening is that it's routing gravity. You see? Gravity, light, all of that. And so think about it like this, light and gravity and all that stuff is held essentially in this kind of structure, like power lines on a power line trail. That structure like kind of is a result of like, the routing of gravity and light. And you can see that here where it's being routed, you see. So as that route is occurring, well, no doubt it's occurring, in that area. I mean, it stands to reason, you know what I mean? And the way that I know this is because, well, here's the tops, of the, say the Y is like, a left-hand pillar and a right-hand pillar, where you can see how it wraps around in the way that it does. It comes to here, okay? And then the other is here. And then you have your features up here that are on the tops of the pillars or whatever. And then the force component, or the gravity or light or whatever is being routed to the point where observation is occurring, which is right in front of your face. So yeah, I thought that was interesting to kind of point out, and it also kind of shows you how the Y works. Now, there are Ys that are made out of a light type thing, okay? And if any type of, I'm assuming this because I'm not sure, but I think that if any type of dark matter is present, that Y will also contain a dark component within it. However, there are standalone dark Ys, like this one, you see, and this big giant one on C3PO's chest. You see the big Y there, dark Y. And I'm not suggesting that they were put there by anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying that these Ys are very useful, and you're seeing evidence of their use in proving a Mandela. You know what I mean? So these Ys, they have something to do with time, light, gravity, observation. There's some connection all there, and they're all throughout space, from the quantum level all the way to the macro level of galaxies. Okay, so in this situation, like I pointed out before, we have a situation of melding. It's occurring here, all the way down the leg, and if you'll notice, like I did here, there's a segment here that is connecting like so. All right, now C3PO's leg was gold, and that's what I'm demonstrating here. So in order to make the leg silver, okay, try to understand this, red has to be removed, red has to be shifted, okay? And as you can see clearly here, about the saturation, in the area where this melding is occurring, we see that right here in this segment, red is moving about. And not only is it moving about, it's moving down and out of the thing. Okay, now if I take and adjust the exposure, man, that's a little bit too much there. If I adjust the exposure a little bit there, what I want to do is, see, we're going to add some detail a bit to it, sharpen it up a bit, and then what I want to do is take the saturation and increase it so we can really kind of bring out the color action that's occurring right here. I know it's a bit dark to see this, but we can lighten that up just in this area. Okay, so where the melding is occurring, we have a situation where we can see there's a color transfer and a mixing of red and blue shift elements there. We have a bright spot here, which is essentially a light. Okay, but also, again, I want to point out, in this particular situation, you have an edge, or what appears to be an edge, and several black holes here that are rerouting the light. Now, so I'm not going to get any kind of point about gravity or anything like that, but what I want to demonstrate is that it's cascading down, that the red is leaving this situation. And if you notice, there's slight curvature on this here that's moving into this black hole, and it bends light. That's the reason, there's an edge here, and so you can clearly see that the light is being routed, or so to say. It's like, in order to maintain this silver of this leg, okay, this situation of this situation here of linkage is the point where the red is being taken out, and that's clearly seen. I don't think it can be more clear than that. I mean, that's a bizarre. Anybody could admit this kind of bizarre situation. Right there, blue and red shifted light is being moved around or whatever. Now, in order to demonstrate the kind of the reality here of the situation, what I want to do is check it out and see kind of if there's any similarities that are, moving around in a similar way. Now, oddly, let's see. There, let's kind of bring it up a bit. Seems to be a little bit more clear that something's occurring. Okay, so if you'll notice, the back of the leg here is gold. You see, there's the transfer that has occurred of this color. Additionally, here as well, you can see similar situation going on following this line. There's also some interesting artifacts there. Let's see, for example, check it out. Kind of brighten it up a bit and look, because there's still gold in it, but and I'm aware this gold right here is more than likely a reflection coming off of there, but this gold on the back of the leg is not coming from a reflection, and if you look carefully here, you can see there's melding going on there, big time, that the transfer is occurring of color, from the leg. Now, if it was the case, that there was this reflection of gold, well, then it's not present anywhere else on the silver dude. You know what I'm saying? Except for the leg, which is the point that we're kind of trying to make here, is that the leg has been changed. and it's important to understand kind of a little bit about how the past works. We got about a 40-year buffer for the now moment, but the way that we humans perceive time is kind of limited to, like, a thinner slice of now than what actually is. And our memory of the past is a lot less pliable than the past is itself. And so, in a situation like this, we know that his leg was gold, period. And this demonstrates that it was, but something happened where, it had to be altered or whatever. And it's currently constantly being altered. And what I'm saying is that there's a gravitational lens or gravitational mirrors in effect, and black holes and all kinds of things that are routing light and moving it about to ensure that, that the now remains like kind of cohesive, structure of light. And, if observation is occurring that is causing some type of an anomaly or whatever in our perception of the now, well then, and there are going to be artifacts that are set up, by these gravitational mirrors and lenses and stuff to compensate for kind of anomalies or whatever. And there you can kind of see it. Well, first of all, there appears to be some kind of I don't know, like a tripod or something in the background there. So there's a little Easter egg. 3PO, of course, silver leg there. And what I want to do here is kind of just adjust the saturation, because I want the colors to be very rich, to kind of differentiate between them, kind of things or whatever. And of course we leave the warmth to 0. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but right there. I got a bit of the details, not too much there. And this is just kind of quick. If I adjust the exposure on the leg, okay, well then you see that there is a clear delineation here between what is silver and what is another color. See, so you have your silver, sort of, and then it just, there's a hard edge that's obviously not silver. See, so half of it's gold, I mean, that's pretty clear. And I mean, I could try messing with the temperature a bit, and what that does is it brings out the gold still as you make it warmer or whatever, but it still doesn't affect the remnant of the silver, or I should say, the addition of the silver in conjunction with the remnant of the gold, which was original. And you can see additionally that there's melding occurring between these two surfaces, the silver surface and the gold surface. You can see there's melding going on there. So yeah, that's fairly simple. We can't do Star Wars movie without doing a control. Let's take a look at the Scarecrow's gun, and really, I mean, what is all this? It's not correct. I mean, anything else? Like the gun itself is I don't know what the hell that is. And what we want to look for again, is kind of, let's see, you got melding going on here between the gun and the cloth there, which is interesting because it changes colors there. Moves about. Let's see. That's about it on that. It looks like there's some degree of melding occurring here between what I'm assuming is the trigger assembly that's not around his finger. But it's hard to determine because the gun's all warped. And I think that could be due in part to something that's occurring here, maybe. Or perhaps a black hole here. I'm not sure. But we can determine that. Let's... I'll tell you what, there's an interesting color situation going on there, especially that background. I'll tell you what. let's do this. Let's get some details a bit, just a little bit. Then let's do some saturation to it a bit. Highlights, why not? Shadows. Give it a little contrast with that. And our handy dandy exposure brush. Let's take some of it out just for now at this point. This is useful because you can determine where like the brightest lights, where the most light is at. You know, because if you just continue to take exposure down, you're gonna see, like, for example, here, you know, there's a lot of light in this general area. There's some here, okay, and then, you know, there's light here on the forehead of the line there, but we also have light here for some reason, you know, and that's kind of what I want to look at. You know, you start to kind of highlight it or whatever, and then you figure where it's at. Okay, it's in the eye. Looks like a scarecrow. Okay, that's bizarre. You know what I'm saying? Really weird. And all I'm doing is bring the exposure back, so we can look at it. Now we see the gun. Okay, now if you look again at the situation with the scarecrow, we have a combination within his eye. There's a blue light, okay, and a white light, right? Blue light, white light. As a matter of fact, if you can see, okay, look very closely, the shape of that blue light, okay, it's kind of like this, right? It's kind of like an oval, and we have two white lights. Look at the gun. We have an oval shape of a thing, and we got two white lights. Additionally, if you look down below, it's kind of a similar type of an arrangement. It's a kind of elongated blue and two whites, you see. These are how mirrors, these are how the mirrors work. These mirrors work. And you just kind of slowly bring it back, you know, take a look. I mean, I mean, it's as far as this goes or whatever, I'm convinced, you know, that, hey, look, it's this is, you know, I say evidence or whatever that he didn't have a gun in the past, and that later, somehow or another, you know, through gravity, through lensing and complex interactions with time, you know, a force is at work that's causing this to be different, you know, and it's not exactly the, you know, it's not exactly in how it should look, so I should say, you know. And there's melding going on with the fabric and the gun. That melding happens to make a Y. You see that? And look, also you can see it's a chain of Y's. All right, so there's gravity at work, at least structurally. There's a dark Y here. There's Y's. They're everywhere. You see, everywhere. And this is a really good example. They come, you know, you can literally see where the line is going here, and they indicate the presence of mirroring, lensing, stuff like that for gravity. You know, that's what they're for. And again, you know, I can't be the one to say, like, you know, conclusively or determine whether it's nefarious or aliens or you know, something, whatever. I have to be scientific about this just to show, you know, hey, look, you know, there's an effect that's occurring. And, you know, from my research, it tells me that it has to do with gravity, time, observation. And it occurs anywhere observation occurs, which is from the quantum scale all the way to wherever, you know, wherever observation is occurring. So yeah, there you have that.